Welcome to the TechEd Jumpstart session, Master Your Mobile Application Development with Pro-Code Tools from SAP BTP. My name is Sami Lechner, and I'm going to be hosting the session for the next 25 minutes with you. And what I'm going to be talking about is the new offering we have with SAP Build Code. I'm going to show you that we can cover from low code to pro code, enabling you to mobilize data out of your SAP environments. And the foundation for what I'm going to be talking about is the Business Technology Platform, which is the core of SAP, the cloud offering we have. And especially here, I'm going to be focusing on the app dev part, so application development. And app dev consists of a lot of options for developers to build UI technologies on top of data and show the data on the screens for desktops, web, and for mobile. And we're especially going to be focusing on the mobile piece here. And let's get the core for the mobilizing data out of SAP systems is the SAP mobile services, right? And there's two personas we are catering to. On the one hand, this is the left-hand side of the screen. We're focusing on accelerating the development of mobile applications. Here we give developers a handful of SDKs, the mobile development kit, the native SDKs for iOS and Android, to build applications really fast. And we're going to be focusing on the top one, the mobile development kit. And on the right-hand side of the screen, this is more for the administrator to deploy the application and then as well to keep it up and running, right? It's not key just to have a version 1 going once. No, we are in the enterprise world. Here we want to have a 24/7 operation and make sure that the application really runs for quite some time. And that will be already the conclusion of the slides. And let's switch right into BTP. So to start off, obviously everything I'm going to be talking about, you can follow up on the GitHub page, right? There's the exercises. You can do this, what I show you yourself. And if we start, this is the cockpit for mobile services. Mobile services is the central point where the administrator can whitelist or do configurations for the applications. And on one hand, it's the whitelisting, that's the connectivity part, whitelisting which data is supposed to go to the mobile devices. And then I have a bunch of configurations which are mobile specific, as well as security configurations, right? How can the data be accessed? And with no further ado, so let's get started with the hands-on session. And I'm hoping I'm talking not too fast, right? So if we are starting, I'm now in Business Application Studio. Let's make this, put this a little bit over here. I select the MDK template, and with this, I just start, and we give the project a name, and today it's going to be TechEd AD282, and we go next. Now I go and select, I'm already connected to mobile services, to the right mobile services in my landscape, right? But now I need to pick up, okay, what is the application endpoint I want to go to, right? To have the right backends available, plus all the security configurations. So I'm picking the TechEd 23, and it has one backend. I'm going to be connecting this, and what the service now fetched the metadata document from the backend and asks me now, what are the entity sets we want to mobilize, right? So and I'm going to go and pick for today's application just a few of them, not all, and click Go. And with this now, what happened is the Business Application Studio generated the complete sync layer and authentication mechanism already for me as a developer. So it's just a few clicks, and I can already sync data to my device. And what it also generated was a collection of list detail views I have for each of the entity sets. These we're going to disregard, right? And we're going to start right away and build an application. I actually have some designs with me. So what the designers want, they want to have a starting page. For now, it's just customer button here. That could be extended in the future. We're going to have a list of customers here. And then there's also a detail view, right? With no further ado, let's get started. So there was the customer button. So we have a bunch of links already. Let's go and delete those, and we just have that. And that one gets a nice image. It's going to get customer here. And go, and then we go and build our own first page, go new page, and that's a section page. Click next and give that kit a name, customer list page. Oh, we should spell it right, just for correctness. And then there was in the design, that was supposed to be customers on top, customers on top. And here we're gonna put a contact table, drag that in. Now the contact table we need to wire up, right, against the data service we have, and we just wanna work with the entity set customers. We want to sort this, so we go with a query option, sort this by last name. Beautiful, worked out. And with this, we already built the list almost, right? If we look at the back here, we still need the actions there and a search bar, right? So let's go and wire up first. Hold on, we need to wire up the data first. So the description is going to become the phone number. Done. And the detail image, obviously we have customer again, not customers. And I have that. And the headline is the last name. That's the bold piece. Go and wire that up. And below the headline, we have the first name showing. Hold on, first name showing. Bam. And then we activate the search. So if we look here, we have now a search field. We want to also have QR code scanning. There's ID, so I can scan the QR code with. And we want to have the short actions, so I can add an activity. Now I got the phone button here, wire this up with the activity, also with the data set phone. Bam, bam, done. And we want to have a second one to also go an email. So let's select the email action here and go email. Click, click. And if we look at this, our first page almost is completed. And we can now go and deploy that. Go and deploy this to our mobile device. Say, yes, deploy this with mobile services. Yes, and it starts the deployment. You can see that here in the bottom. And if we now get our simulator to the front, whoa, well, whatever, it just opened up. Well, was not what I wanted, but it doesn't make a difference. So you see the deployment happens in the bottom. And let's wait for the deployment to finish. And then the update will always be picked up every time the user opens the application. So I open the application, and it recognizes, hey, there's a new version available. I go and say yes, and I can see that there is customers, and I have a list of customers here, right? And I also have a search capability, and I can go back, and it's missing the detail view. Let's implement the detail view as well on this one. So go MDK new page. And section next, and let's go customer detail detail page. No, what's going on? It's not my keyboard, obviously. So, and then I have a detail here on the top, and we go and use as a control the object header to show the details of the customer. This is, if I go back to the design, this is gonna look like this. To build a page like this, I go and have at the bottom, you can see here where the body is, we wanna have here an ID. This is very long. Take the customer ID, again, we just wire this up. The description, again, is the phone number. Bam, bam. And the detail image, we switch to customer again. And we scroll down a little bit. The footnote, we go and pick, let's get creative. We just put city there. Here we have the city, and the headline is, again, that's the bold so everybody sees who that is. Last name, we don't have a label. We don't have a status. We can take the status out. And below the headline is the first name. And the substatus we also take out. Now should we have something? Let's look at the design. Did I forget something? Oh, email. So the creative part which I put there was the email. That's definitely should be. We need to see that. So let's take that email here. That was all right. Goodie. Now we have that up ready. Now that needs to be wired up. So I go to the page here and we select. We want to create an action. And a new action is that so if somebody clicks in a customer list to go to the detail, we need a navigation. Navigation we name nav to customer detail. And this is the customer detail page. Done. And we actually make sure that we have the right navigation here as well. I think that was was showing to the old customer list page. Let's make sure it shows to the new one as well. So no, it's not an object. Wrong click. It's also an action. And we go add a navigation here. Name that nav to customer list. And point at our list page. And go finish. And if we now continue building pages, we could build also the edit page and continue like this. I'm not going to go through all of the clicking. It's very well described in our tutorial, but I have a solution project and I'm just going to deploy that solution project. So I go to open folder projects. And here, no, here we go and, oops, what is it doing now? Let's close this if it's in the way. Oh, cancel. There was a pop-up on the other screen. Now we got it. So, and now we go MDK deploy. That's, oh. Let's reload. Something happened to the web browser, probably a timeout because it was opened a little bit too long ago. It doesn't make a difference. Let the pages load and we go and do a deploy. Now we have it. We can do mobile services. It deployed the application, but it didn't ask us. Hold on, let's make sure we're deploying the right one. This is it. So now. And now we go, let it load. I switch back so I can deploy the solution. Now it's asking me and I can pick the solutions. This is the one I want to show. So MDK deploy, good. And it's deploying the application. And now if we switch to our mobile device, we got a phone hooked up. So just that you also see that application on a mobile device. And here we have a screen. Does it come? Okay, it's not picking up the screen. Let's go and start a completely new one, no problem. There we go, file. And it says it's seeing the screen, but it's not showing it. It's a little bit strange. Whatever happened here? Let's unplug it one more time. Let's plug it back in. If not, then we just go back to the simulator. That's unfortunate. Whatever happened here, it's Let's leave it as it is, and we just go to the simulator, no problem. So on the simulator, I go basically the customer app, the user opens the app again. It tells me, oh, there's a second version or a new version of the app, and I just load the new version, and now I have the capability. I have the list detail view. I can go into the details. I have an edit button here. I can edit something. So if I change the phone number from 5 to 666 or to 6678, click save. Now the phone number was changed to 678. And if I go back and I click search, I can also do barcodes scanning. That was like, and if I then search with a barcode or QR code, I get the search now for the QR code I looked for, and I have the capability to visual or to mobilize the data very simple. And what I wanted to show is this is also possible with our native SDKs, but here just the speed a developer can just work with and focus on building mobile applications with the SAP mobile tools. And with this, let's get the slides back up and make them full screen. Yeah, we talked about what we can do here on the mobile development kit. The application I developed will run on Android and iOS. Unfortunately, whatever happened to the tech setup, it didn't show on my device, but it runs on iOS as well. What I showed you was the Android simulator. Yeah, with this, I think we are at the end of what I wanted to show as a demo, and we can jump into the Q&A part. Live Q&A. Okay, so we have the questions now, and the first question is MDK available on SAP BTP free and trial version? Yes. So whatever I showed you, and it's also linked on our page, is you can try out mobile services with the free and the trial version. We have a lot of tutorials which are linked in the GitHub page to this session. You can get started without any costs and try these things out, as well for MDK as also for the native SDKs. And the second question is, can it be deployed with RF scanners as well? Is there migration part from ITS mobile applications? So ITS mobile applications are web applications, and there is no migration in that sense. You're building a very modern new UI to it and a very modern application, a real mobile application. So it's fairly easy to do that. And yes, you can build those. The key thing is that your backend is OData. And if you don't have an OData backend, use SAP CAP to generate an OData backend, or we also offer from the mobile side the SAP mobile backend tools to do that. When should we go for MDK and when for build apps? Well, if you go for MDK, MDK is a pro-code tooling. This is if you want to build application for large-scale deployments. This is the tooling SAP uses to build mobile apps, and that's the mobile tooling. And it offers you offline out of the box. It offers you push notification. You have a real mobile engine, real mobile capabilities with this. So this is when you want to use the mobile tools, right? And it really integrates fully with BTP. We are on BTP. We were one of the first services on BTP, so we are more or less a BTP native service. Is MDK apps are native apps and can be deployed on Android and iOS? Yes, I showed you. Those are real native apps. The controls you see, and I can just get the simulator back in the front. The controls you see are native controls. This is rendering completely native, right? But it is an application. If you're using MDK, it's runtime interpreted, right? So you're writing the application in native script. And we have an iOS container and an Android container, and they will play back the application. And what I also showed when I was deploying the application, your application will be from SAP BaaS, I can get the slide to the front. SAP BaaS will deploy the application into mobile services. And from mobile services, it will be distributed to the mobile devices, right? So you have a very easy update capability. Nevertheless, if you want to build native applications, you can do that, right? And I just remember there was a RFID scanner questions. If you're using MDK as well as the native SDKs, you of course have the capability to build a small extension to integrate the RFID scanners. We already have quite some examples to build such extensions. In that sense, we had them for barcode scanning. Next question. From Luca. I have to make some changes on my Fiori application, develop and be deployed on mobile services several years ago with the help of HAT. With what tools can I make these changes? So if you have, and just to explain this, in the past we had Hybrid Application Toolkit. This was based on Cordova. Cordova's not state-of-the-art anymore. Most people in the enterprise world have pulled back out of Cordova, so we're also not supporting that anymore. But that said, if you have a web application and you want to build a mobile application, I just showed you that really in short time you can build a real mobile experience, and you do not want to have a desktop web application and the same type of screens on a mobile device. On a mobile device, you have a lot of more functionality, but a lot less screen estate. That's why you want to build a dedicated mobile UI. Yes, it's a little bit effort in the beginning to do that, but it pays out for the usability of the application. You saw also how fast the screens are loading. These are not web screens which need extra rendering time, and a web browser always needs to load the UI and the data. If you build them a real native application, you have a super fluent UI, very good user experience with offline capability, very easy, and that's what you really want to bring to your users, to enable users to work with the data mobile anytime, anywhere. Is MDK always a recommended option? Are there any reasons to go? The screen just went offline, no problem. We go. Are there the reasons to go with the SDKs? So the question is really, should I be using MDK or should I be using native SDKs? We are recommending please use whatever developers can work with. If you have developers with web skills and web background, right, MDK is the easiest way to really build mobile applications fast, right? And you can do that with Business Application Studio. In the web, or you can also use, we have a Visual Code extension if you want to do local development. That's a really easy way to build with script knowledge mobile applications and access almost all of the native functionality. If you though have a team which has iOS skills or native Android skills, then use those developers, right? You have a lot of power, a lot of extra processing power. You have capabilities then to also build really nice UIs, fluent UIs, and process a lot of data. If you want to use the AI or something like that, then definitely go with a native approach. But the recommendation is always to just go with whatever your development skills are, right? And SAP basically says that, hey, we support you and we try to keep the SDKs on all with the same capabilities, right? And with this, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to be here, and I hope I got your interest, and you will find a lot of more links on the GitHub repository to continue your education journey and learn more about our mobile offering. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your TechEd time. Bye-bye.